Make some noise for your host, Kid Copious.
What up, perps? Kid Copious, back in the bunker. Purple State Party. Representing. This is my fourth take. Earlier I recorded an entire 30-plus minute video, only to find out that I'd forgotten to reset my Bandicam settings, and I was recording the computer sound, so I had an echo that made me even more annoying than usual, you know. Those are the kind of things that happen, but you know, that says a lot about me, I think. Because, you know, if you look at some of my other videos, I don't got a lot of views, but I still want to bring the bang. And I'm going to do it, man, because this is what I love to do. You know, I'm Purple State, man. I'm so Purple State, man. Today, I was walking through a Target, and I saw this. Look at that. The beautiful Kristen Bell. Man, I just want to curl up in bed with her and read a book. You know, she just looks, man, I just want to be around somebody, you know, like that. You know, fortunately, you know, my wife is one of those people. So you'll never guess what I did today. Me and the wife and the kid. Now, we made raviolis. What's so remarkable about that, not that we made all the pasta ourselves by hand, the meat packing, which is basically some ground beef, some pork, and some spinach, classic, goes all the way back to old world Italy, my grandma. So every year, Thanksgiving time, we'd all get together, you know, and we would make raviolis that my parents would freeze and use throughout the year, Thanksgiving, Christmas. You always freeze them. Trick is you freeze them, and then when you boil them, it's something about the timing. Maybe it's just magic, but, you know, now, you know, the young ones are involved. Well, you know, my daughter's not exactly young, but, you know, still young. You know, she always helps Grandma make the meat and the pasta, and then she's in charge of rolling it out. My mom uses electric. We use a hand because we don't have a blender to attach it to because, well, we just don't. So we hand crank it. She rolls it out nice and long, brings it over, cuts it. My wife is in charge of putting the fillings in, and then you have to pinch them around and poke them down to make a little indent right there. It makes it look like a gondola. You know them Italian boats, you know, that you see in Venice, and holds extra sauce in that little divot. That's the trick. But your boy right here, man, is going on 50 years of being the family's official meatball roller because I'm good at rolling things. That's just the truth. That's what I do. Everybody knows that I sit in the same damn seat every year. You know, hopefully we get to do it this year. You know, we did it today because my daughter just likes eating them. She's a picky eater, so you gotta get what you can. But you know, we went and saw that book today, and that was kind of cool. Didn't really read it, didn't buy it because again, you know, money doesn't grow on trees. So, welcome to August. August is National Stop Blaming White People Month. I don't mean any harm by that. I don't mean any hate, you know. I mean, as you can see by my forehead right here, I happen to be of the white group. I think it's kind of bullshit, but whatever, you know. It's the way it is, you know. And it's not to say that white people are all good or all evil or whatever, you know. White people have done wrong things. Everybody's done wrong things, man. You know, there's not a group out there that hasn't done something. I mean, really? I mean, you know, accept responsibility for your own bad choices. That's very true. Blaming people doesn't get you anywhere. I know as somebody who used to be a drunk, you know, you got to take responsibility. You can't blame it on the world and you can't blame it on the disease. You just have to take responsibility. There's another cool thing, man. I got into fantasy football again. Not sure if the season's going to happen, but I got to see that. Washington football team. You know, you got the Native Americans that are out there, and they're having their own struggles. You know, pandemic and just the everyday life. People think the casino solved everything. The casinos didn't solve everything for all of them. It really didn't. I hate to burst your bubble out there, but you know, these people are struggling, and they need more than just platitudes of changing football names. You know, something needs to be done, but the way it's set up, there's only so much that can be done, really. And you know, they would try to deal with things on their own, and they've got some communities in crisis out there. But changing a name isn't going to change it. Because of the name changes, my least favorite teams right there, man. I've always hated the Raiders. Chargers, I was always a fan of, but I thought it was a bit of a bitch move to move to LA after the Rams had already done it. I don't have any respect for somebody who wants to play second fiddle. I mean, in certain circumstances, playing second fiddle is a very noble thing to do, but not in football. Not in all, it's just cowardly. Stand on your own 2 feet. I mean, at least the Raiders made a choice. I mean, Las Vegas could be a really wonderful place to see a football game. Get whisked from the casino to the game, and then back again. It's almost a neutral site maybe. We'll see how that all turns out. But, I mean, it's a good move. And the Chargers, I think, could have made that move. And it would have even been better. Because talk about, like, a neutral site with a neutral team. I mean, it'd be a brilliant place for the world to come and see our game, But no, they wanted to do that. And the Los Angeles Rams, look, man, I've been in the LA area my entire life, pretty much. I spent some time up north. But the Rams, man, they tanked to get out of here, man. And then they come back and they're like an ex-girlfriend. Comes back with a baby that definitely ain't yours. And said, oh, look, it's yours. Oh, it's yours. Welcome us back. No, piss off. Piss off. Just, I don't care. I don't care. And Los Angeles ain't jackhole to be proud of anyhow. It's a freaking dump, man. It looks like an apocalypse in some places, man. People living in tents made out of tarps, just sleeping every which way but loose. California used to be a beautiful state. Used to be proud to be from here, but I'm not anymore. This is just a place I'm stuck, man. Just stuck. Anyhow, moving on. Brings me to kind of what I've been thinking about today, last couple days. But this morning it really hit home. I was watching NHK, which is the equivalent of the BBC. It's from Japan. They have news. They don't necessarily have a lot of slant to their news. Or at least, I mean, I don't see it. I'm just saying. I'm just calling it like I see it. They don't seem to have a lot of slant. But they're doing remote schooling over there. And here, it's a big thing. My chair is collapsing on me. Sorry about that. Hey, this is the real deal here, man. I just shoot this stuff live. I'm not going to edit all this. This is who I am, man. These are the things I say. I'm Purple State, man. I mean, all these freaking phony politicians and phony pundits. Man, I'm just a weirdo, man. I'm a fun cat. And that's just the way it is, man. But anyhow, we've had decades of this slanted journalism. And at first it was quite ambivalent. It was things about like gun control. They would report certain things but not other certain things. And you start seeing it with like how they report police shootings. Certain groups get more focused than other groups. Sort of keeps a certain story going. And people have been fine with it. But now, look where we are. That's where we are, right there. I don't know what to believe out of any of that. I mean, I trust Fitton, but I mean, is he getting it from bad information? Newsweek? They've got the pill, the hydroxychloroquine, up there, but we can't trust anybody. Doctors say things and they get shut down. The president says something that was essentially true and got shut down by the social media giants, the Mount Olympus of social media. Decided, lightning bolts, we're going to strike that down. They're creating narratives. They're pushing us to sides, and look where it's getting us. We have effing, you know what? We have fucking made wearing masks a political issue at this point. And we don't even really know. I mean, I don't know. I wear this because of the cancel culture. I don't necessarily want to censor myself, and I don't really want, that's the truth. Whatever. Moving on. I have to wear basically the same thing. Believe it or not, I mostly wear a purple bandana. Just what I do. I have one laying around, just like this one. This one's got the smile. There you go. But the other day, I was out for about 8.5 hours, walking around in the sun, opening and closing these devices called PIVs. You can look them up. And they're down in the ground, and they're often very difficult to crank. I'm doing that all day long. I got my mask on. I'm walking through the warehouse. I'm sweating like a pig. It was high. It was, the 90s. It's like breathing through a soaking wet washcloth that has lukewarm water on it. It doesn't cool you. It's a pain in the ass. I freaking hate wearing these things. But what I found that I hate more is people starting shit over wearing them. Just wear the damn thing. Think about it for a second. If somebody sneezes in your area, or when they're talking, they spit at you, you can take that back to somebody who is affected by this disease. We've allowed the media to distort reality for so long that we don't even know what we should trust right now. But I know that, it's bad. We've already seen it. I know they're twisting numbers. I know all that. That's what they do. It's very simple. If something is 97% survivable, do you say that? No, because nobody clicks on that. That's not information that you feel you need to know more about, right? You're not frightened by that. You're not going to click on that, But you say 3%? Well, 3% is kind of a small number, So, what's that? That's like nearly 1 million. So nearly 1 million will die. That's scary. That's what they do, and that's what they've done with COVID. China gave us COVID. The media effed it up, and then just like the good little media lapdogs they are, they blame the other side. It's that simple. Fox News blames this side, and CNN blames this side. And what's the truth? I mean, President Trump has said some wrong things, but in the beginning, he actually did something, right? He did something. He shut down travel, and he was labeled a racist for doing so. And the people who labeled him a racist said, our subways are clean, go to Chinatown. So who really effed up on day one? See, right now, they're just blaming Trump so they don't have to blame their state leaders. This is a state problem. That's the way this country's set up. There's national problems and there's state problems. Right? I mean, think about it. People in the middle of the country don't really have to worry about border security. Right? They don't. So that's going to be left up to the state. Marijuana. It's another one. State by state. I believe some of the other ones, you have monumental ones that are just state by state. Different laws for different situations. This wasn't especially at the start, before we knew anything about it, before it really took any hold and we started to see what was going to happen. This wasn't necessarily a national issue. Certain areas were, more likely than other areas. So they kept us in our right and our left corners over here, man. So I think that the right and the left probably hate people like me in the middle the most, because I hold them both accountable. I mean, think about it. If you take for a second that this was a state thing and Cuomo sends elderly patients back to the nursing home to infect other people. I mean, Jesus, not even Newsom did that. And Newsom is the biggest idiot out there. He didn't do that, did he? No. He didn't. He didn't send him back. They could, in New York, they could have sent him to a hospital ship that was offshore. They could have done that. They didn't do that. But who are we supposed to believe? I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I mean, I read something from Governor Nome of Dakota. I can never remember which one. I want to say South, but I'm probably wrong. South Dakota. We'll just go with that. Whatever. We're rolling on. And, you know, she talks about how things are going great there. And then other people are throwing statistics around. And I don't know what to think. You know, it's almost impossible to figure it out. You got to delve through so much on a daily basis. And that's one of the things they count on. Keep throwing shit at you, and you'll never have a chance to figure out it's just chocolate pudding. I don't know, man. That's what came to mind. You know? And this is one of those things that illustrates that point, you know? Hoffa's remains have been recovered. Indicated cause of death, likely COVID. Because the very people that we're supposed to trust are effing up. The hands-on, the boots-on-the-ground soldiers are I don't know. I mean, like we saw that motorcycle death that was reported as COVID. Like, what are we supposed to make of this? And then the media, who are supposed to be our watchdogs, they're playing the ball game. They don't mind if it gets worse because they're blaming Trump. Their maneuver is blame Trump for this and sink the Trump presidency if we can, by using this fallout from this, instead of anybody pulling in around Trump, acting like Americans coming together in a time of crisis. Jesus, look what's going on with the aid package. You guys are dicking around about all of these stupid ass things. No, I don't think that everybody deserves an extra $600. It's quite simple. 100% of their paycheck. Boom, done. What they should have earned, which they would have earned if COVID didn't step in. Why can't you just do that? 100%. Easy. We don't have to dick around. Give them 100% of their paycheck. And for God's sakes, put some resources together to get these checks going, because these things are delayed. You know, my wife filed in March and it took up until, I believe, last month. You know, if that was our only source of income, what would we have done? I'm essential. You know, Miss Candace Owens making a comeback here. You know, making a list again, as they would say, talking about how the media talks more about the Diet Cokes that Trump drinks than the fact that Clinton has gone to Epstein's Island. They're trying to link Trump with Epstein, even though Trump basically knew what was going on and revoked his membership. Never liked the guy. He knew what was up, but he didn't play that way. But I don't know about this guy. Think about what he did do. I mean, that's some pretty shady stuff, you know. BJ's in the White House. I don't know, man. I mean, if you're willing to go to like that kind of thing to ditch your Secret Service agents to go off on one of these trips, I don't know what to make of it, but it doesn't look good. You know, 50-50 and like comes to something like pedophilia, 50-50. Whew. I don't even want to be in that position. You know? So, right off the bat, we have like stuff all out of order on my thing. So anyhow, that's what it's gotten us. So moving forward, maybe we want to think about how partisan we want to be. Maybe purple isn't such a crazy color after all. Saw this. I do work in Long Beach. And I saw some of the devastation. And, you've heard this before, but this is not just peaceful protest. This is full-on rioting. They were inside shops down in Long Beach trying to break into the safe. They cleaned a family out of everything in their store, including the fixtures. They took the fixtures. Anything they couldn't take, they destroyed. Yeah. People argue, oh, it's just stuff. It could be replaced. But who's going to pay for it? Because you know where it all ends up, right? I'm assuming you said on our backs. Because as consumers, we're going to have to make up the difference one way or the other. You wonder why insurance rates are so high. Well, payouts like this. They're in it to make money. Everybody is. But look what this said. Love black people as much as you love black culture. It's that simple. It's that simple, man. I mean, if you're out there listening to the music, jacking the styles, well, you got to think, man. Am I just loving the culture or am I loving the people? So you got to love the people. That's more important. If you're out there with hate in your heart and you're like, you're sitting there listening to reggae, but you don't, whatever. You get the point, man. I'm not going to ramble on about this. Man, sometimes, people get so mad at Trump, but sometimes he just has it so perfect. I know that's got to piss people off. Reporter, your guests aren't social distancing, Trump. That's okay. It's a peaceful protest. No, I don't do it, Trump. I just don't. It's not one of my voices. I don't really know if I do voices very well. If I wasn't breathing so heavily through the mask, I would probably try to do one, but I would mess it up. You know what I mean? There you go. Sign of the week. If pedophilia is just sexuality, then burying them all is just gardening. Yeah, and that's what's troubling about the Clinton thing. Because, it's not just his sexuality. They're assuming it goes both ways. It doesn't necessarily go both ways. And even if it does, it's still wrong. Wrong is wrong. That's as plain as you can make it. Wrong is wrong. There have to be rules. There have to be limitations. There have to be protections. We can't just all be savages. So, we got to get on to this, of course. Unlike I'm not even going to read it, man. It's disgusting to me because if this came out of Trump's mouth, it would be canceled. It would be game over. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, I know not a lot of people are seeing this, but, hopefully I remember to take this clip out and post it other places. But, that's racism. That's that deep actually going to go and do something about it. He was the VP under our first and only black president. That doesn't give him a pass. This is a career politician who is willing to do whatever it takes to succeed, to win the game of politics. And I would argue that the ultimate prize in American politics is the presidency. He's tried and failed. He's worse now. The worst part is this racist is just going to be a puppet for a group that says they oppose racism. How does the media get behind all of these causes and then let shit like that fly? People need to be explained what is racist about that. There's people out there claiming it's not. It fucking is, man. Nobody has the right. That is the pure definition of the stereotypes that are being canceled. They all think alike. Think about what he's saying. That's not exactly saying that they are smart or wise or educated or teachable. That's him saying they're a bunch of freaking dummies who follow people like sheep. They're going to follow him. He's basically saying, hey, sheep, get in line. And as you can see here, God bless Larry Elder, by the way. Thanks for bringing me another good one. There's the basement fire, and look who is putting out the fire. The donkey with the extinguisher that says media. These are the same people that are hindering any effort to get Americans aid, Americans cured, any of that. These are people that are actively fighting for one side. And in most times it's for one particular side. And they're covering that up. They're brushing it under the cape. Just like if you don't vote for me, you ain't black. Man, that's racist shit. That's way worse. Way worse than all the other people who got canceled. Because it's insidious. It's not said in anger. It's not said while drunk or on Ambien, like in Roseanne Barr's case. This is racist shit. This is the same thing that Nick Cannon did with white people. It's the same thing, man. You just don't get it. Simply using the N-word, man, that ain't shit. But assuming you know what they think, speaking for them, defining their race card, man, you can't define people's race cards. This is who's propping him up. Right here. The Bernies, the AOCs, the communists off on that side there. The radical agenda. I don't know if he's this bad. Be honest with you, I don't know. I'm not in a position to judge anybody on that. I don't think he's together. If I had a bet, I think there's sure signs of decline. You know? I don't know. I mean, he's not out there fighting. Is he fighting for your vote, or is he hiding and relying on, 20-year-olds to type up tweets for him? I mean, where is he? He keeps running his mouth about the Green Deal and shit. In this time of trouble, he's talking about raising taxes. I mean, are you kidding me? Another lame ass candidate. But, if you get enough hatred for Trump, he's second best. And it's going to be a sham. We already know it's going to be a sham because we've already seen how hard it is. New York can't even get their shit together for like a month now, maybe 2 months. I don't know. They still can't decide in their primary. It's a shit show. Mass vote in, just grab a ballot and send it in. How are they going to check all that stuff? How are they going to validate any of that stuff? I listened to a radio show and they said, would you send $100 in the mail, or would you send your ballot? Something like that. And some guy was talking about sending large amounts of cash. He's like, by registered mail. Well, yeah, our ballots aren't going that way, man. I could take my wife's ballot, write in whoever I want, and just walk out the house and mail it on my way to work. And once it's in that mailbox, it's in there to vote. There's nothing she can do. People who get fraudulent ballots, dead people ballots, ballots for the fucking pets, I don't know. They can't go in person to vote because they're dead. They can't present ID to get an absentee ballot because they're dead. Yes, there are absentee ballots out there for dead people, I'm sure. But I'm sure statistically that's quite low. Maybe I'll look it up and post it here. Probably won't, because I'll probably forget. But we're going to have a fraudulent election that might lead to a fraudulent president. You see this chick, Cortez. I don't know if she's asking Instagram to take it down, but I'm not exactly sure what that is. To me, that sounds like some sort of call to arms. It also sounds like maybe they're doing some damage because they're certainly frightened of that one account. So good on you. Good on you. There you go. Australians say, show us your poise. Here's another one. Another radical left in trouble. Even a liberal rag has said, we've had enough of this chick. Yeah, that's a failed experiment. I think it's time to pull the ripcord on that baby. It passed its expiration date, and quickly. Dragging down the whole party, if you were to ask me. And now here's another tactic. Let's go after the Second Amendment. Because, of course, if these idiots get their end result of a socialistic society, they're going to take away guns. That's the first thing all of those mad dictators did. Look it up. I mean, you can go look it up. You really think people in Stalin, the Soviet Union had gun rights? Come on. Give me a break, man. Cambodia? Nah, don't think so. No. Nazi Germany? Yeah, I'm pretty sure no. Nah, the average person couldn't fight back. They had no choice. They had to accept what came. Oprah owns 10 houses. I own 0. How do I get a refund on my white privilege? Oh, that's great. I saw that spray painted down in Long Beach, and said white privilege is real, racism is real, police brutality is real. And we looked it up, and the artist put her Instagram account on there, and there's basically pictures of her showing off fake boobs. So, I don't know, but that's, yeah, that's the kind of shit that's going on right now. A chick with fake boobs is talking about white privilege. I just, it's humorous to me, man. Everything she says might be true, but still a ridiculous way of going about it. Talking about what's real or not. Yeah, this is some of the more crazy shit. This is one of those ones where I ain't going to make a proclamation because I haven't had a chance to read it. But, you know, that sounds right. But it's going to be tough to enforce that. But that's ridiculous, man. You know, you have to trust us to do what's best. And, you know, there's going to be a lot of zigging and zagging because the school year is right around the corner. My daughter already does online. Because that's a whole nother story. But so she's, you know, this is nothing to her. But for a lot of kids, it's really tough, man. And again, it comes from that disinformation where we really don't know who to trust because we don't have any trusted sources left. If you trust your sources, then scratch the surface. Because the only way you could trust your source is if you scratch the surface. And if you haven't scratched the surface, you probably believe a lot of the bullshit that's out there. That's just straight up. You know? Brings us to the NBA. I'm not sure. Tucker Carlson got almost 4 million. NBA, 1.2 million. NBA has been in decline for a long time. That's probably why they're doing this whole thing. But you go to their website, and apparently you put in the most offensive stuff you can think of to be on the back of your jersey, but there are certain things you can't put that are detrimental to the Chinese government. I mean, again, I've harped on this before, man. If you're against masks and people who kneel for the national anthem, then you can't be watching the NBA. Plain and simple. I don't want to be a gatekeeper, but I just don't see how in the hell you can justify that. These people openly support China. Concentration camps and slavery. You know, no matter what you are, right or left, America doesn't stand for those things, unless you're in the NBA. So, F them. You know? Just F them. Here's a quick one. Just a quick reminder for anybody who's maybe getting down on certain polls, which are just, we already know are bullshit. We already know it's absolute bullshit. I mean, at this point, they could just be making these fucking numbers up. I hope I could be the first person out there to just say, look, they're making these numbers up. They're pulling this shit out of their head. They can explain it however they want. But as far as I'm concerned, these are just made up numbers. It doesn't really mean anything. I mean, I kind of find it hard to believe that Trump's even behind right now with the idiot, just the sheer stupidity that we've seen out of the Democratic Party. We've seen their lack of leadership on display. Right? You can criticize Trump for golfing or some of the other things, but look at the people you support. Look at these Democrat governors and mayors and politicians who are doing and saying all the wrong things. You're just relying on your blind devotion. All right, we're going to skip over a few of these. I like this one. Justice for George Floyd to abolish Western civilization at an alarmingly fast rate. And like I said before, these were just bored kids with nothing better to do than go out and see how much trouble they can get into. You know, here's your daily reminder. Gotta look that guy up, Thomas Sowell. The oldest fraud is the belief that the political left is the party of the poor and the downtrodden. Supporting things like defunding the police clearly is a racist policy. It's going to affect minorities and poor way more. It just is. You already know that. The troubled areas are only going to get worse when you defund them. So, I mean, but that's the perfect thing. There's just the sheer stupidity that they even remotely get behind that. You know? And going back to, you know, the Washington Redskins here, I like this one. Abolishing history isn't going to alter history. It's just going to make us naive to it. You know, I've said it before, you know, even your own history, man, will repeat itself. So, you know, signposts. There are signposts for socialists out there. You could go look it up. You know. I want to give a shout out to Julia Song. You know. She's a Brazilian activist who fought against socialism in her home country and then has moved to America. And, very beautiful, very witty. Not what you would expect from the Republican side. And, if you are thinking you don't fit in over on this side, well, just remember, I vote Republican, man, and I don't fit in many places. I really don't. This is just one persona. My normal persona ain't even close to this. Fortunately, I have a work side too, so I have 3 personalities. But, somebody put that out for me, man. I just found this just by scrolling through Instagram. But have the courage to be disliked, man. Say the unpopular thing. If you think the middle is what they fear, then, get in the middle and just, ruffle those feathers, man. Because I don't want to be one of these liars for the right, and I don't want to be a liar for the left, man. I want to, I want to tell it like it is, man. I want to try to, I don't know. I just want to connect with people like myself who don't understand why we have 2 parties, But you have to have the courage to be disliked. I have the courage to keep going. Like I said, man, I'm now about almost an hour and a half into this, and I've been sweating the entire time, and I don't even know if anybody's going to see this. But, you have to have courage, But you have to have all the facts so that you know what you should be afraid of. And that's what the media has screwed up, We don't know who to trust. We don't know what information to act upon. It's like going into battle with, conflicting, oh, they're on your eastern flank. Oh, they're on your western flank. Well, if they're on both, we're screwed. But if we send reinforcements to the wrong side, then we're screwed. Whereas nowadays, man, we don't have to deal with that. We got recon. We got stuff that just goes up in the air. Shows you where everything is. That's the kind of honesty that we need out of our media. I think, Is that too much to hope that, mainstream media and social media can maybe figure out a way to work together so we can better the situation? Because instead of arguing over pedophilia, we should be combating it. Instead of arguing over COVID, we should be fighting it together. We can't keep buying into this media bullshit and expect to get anywhere. Being divided. United we stand, divided we fall. It's right there. We need to have a concerted effort to get a semblance of truth back in the media so that we can make decisions based on actual information from trusted sources. Instead, we've got doctors on both sides of the fence. How? Is that really how powerful the media is? They may be. They may be, because they are covering up my favorite one, Mr. Larry Elder. Whoop, whoop. I love that one right there, man. Because that's kind of the truth. That's what it's starting to turn out to be. I mean, these people made up evidence to try to impeach the president and waste 3 years and waste 4 years of just nonstop bickering. Every governor, all these Democrats, these scummy Democrats, running ads about, oh, we're going to take on Trump, we're going to take on Trump. And nobody ever called them out on it. And now we've got a shit show. Because now we're facing a crisis in our country and around the world, and we don't know what ammo we're supposed to be using. Copious out.